What if I told you that many prayers fail, not because God is silent, but because people are praying against the very answer they are asking for? In the next few minutes, you'll discover how to pray in a way that activates faith, aligns with truth, and produces visible results, sometimes within 24 hours. If you're ready to transform your prayer life and start seeing real results, stay engaged, take notes, and apply every step. And if this speaks to you, share it with someone who needs breakthrough today. Confidence in prayer is not a feeling you wait for. It is a decision you make based on what you know. Many people approach prayer with uncertainty, and that uncertainty weakens their expectation. They hope God is listening. They hope something might happen, but deep inside there is hesitation. That hesitation becomes a barrier. When you pray with confidence, you are not guessing. You are assured that your voice is heard and that your request matters. This kind of confidence comes from understanding that God is faithful to respond, not based on your emotions or your performance, but based on His nature. When you truly believe that, your approach changes. You don't come timidly, you don't come begging, and you don't come repeating the same request over and over as if it was not heard the first time. You come boldly, clearly, and directly, knowing that the moment you speak in faith, something begins to move. Uncertainty causes people to pray double-minded prayers. One moment they ask with hope, and the next moment they question whether it will work. That inner conflict cancels out the strength of their prayer. Confidence, on the other hand, removes that conflict. It brings stability. It anchors your words so that what you say carries weight and direction. When confidence is present, your words become steady. You don't shift your language based on circumstances. You don't let what you see dictate what you believe. Instead, you remain firm. Even if nothing appears to change immediately, your confidence keeps you grounded. It prevents you from going back into fear or doubt. This confidence is built before you even open your mouth to pray. It is built by choosing to trust completely. And once you begin praying from that place, your focus is no longer on whether something will happen, but on the certainty that it already has a beginning. That mindset transforms prayer from a desperate act into a powerful declaration. Believing you receive before you see is one of the most challenging principles for the natural mind because it goes against everything the senses are trained to depend on. Most people are used to believing only after they see evidence, but in this kind of prayer, belief must come first. The moment you pray, that is the moment you choose to accept that the answer is already granted, even if there is no visible change yet. This is where many people miss it. They pray sincerely, but the moment they finish, they begin to look around for immediate signs. When they don't see anything, doubt begins to creep in. That doubt slowly replaces the faith they had just moments before. But true belief does not rely on visible proof. It rests on an inner conviction that what has been asked is already set in motion. When you believe you receive, you shift your focus from the physical realm to a deeper assurance. You are no longer waiting to be convinced by what you see. Instead, you are convinced first, and you allow what you believe to eventually shape what you will see. This kind of belief is steady. It does not rise and fall with circumstances. There is also a timing element involved. The phrase "before you see" means there may be a gap between the moment of prayer and the moment of manifestation. That gap is where faith must remain active. If belief fades during that time, it interrupts the process. But if belief stays strong, it carries the answer forward until it becomes visible. Acting as though you have received does not mean pretending something false. It means aligning your inner attitude with what you have already accepted as true. Your thoughts become settled, your words reflect confidence, and your actions are no longer driven by fear or urgency. This kind of belief produces peace. Instead of anxiety and constant checking, there is a calm assurance that what was asked has already been handled. And that assurance becomes the foundation that allows results to appear without resistance. Aligning your words with faith, not fear, is where many victories are either secured or lost. Prayer itself may be done in a moment, but your words continue long after you finish praying. Those words either reinforce what you asked for, or they begin to contradict it. That is why what you say after prayer is just as important as what you say during prayer. Fear has a voice and it speaks quickly. It shows up through statements of doubt, worry, and negative expectation. If you are not careful, you will find yourself saying things that cancel the very thing you just believed for. You may pray for provision, but later say, "I don't know how I will make it." You may pray for healing, but then speak constantly about symptoms and weakness. Those words are not neutral. They shape your expectation and weaken your position of faith. Faith also has a voice, but it must be chosen deliberately. It speaks in agreement with what has already been asked. It does not ignore reality, but it refuses to give it the final authority. When you align your words with faith, you are consistently declaring what you believe is happening, even if it has not yet appeared outwardly. This alignment requires awareness. You must begin to notice what you are saying throughout the day. Words spoken casually still carry influence. Even small statements can either support your prayer or work against it. That is why discipline in speech becomes essential. You are not just talking, you are reinforcing a direction. Consistency is what gives your words strength. It is not about saying something once and then forgetting it. It is about maintaining the same message over time. When your words remain steady, they build momentum. They keep your heart focused and your expectation intact. Choosing faith over fear in your speech does not mean you will never feel pressure. It means you refuse to let that pressure decide what comes out of your mouth. You may feel uncertainty, but you speak confidence. You may see challenges, but you declare the outcome you believe in. When your words stay aligned with faith, they create an environment where what you prayed for is continually supported instead of being undone. Using the Word as the foundation of your prayer is what gives your prayer strength, direction, and authority. Without a solid foundation, prayer can become emotional, repetitive, and uncertain. But when your prayer is built on the Word, it is no longer based on how you feel in the moment. It is anchored in something unchanging and reliable. Many people pray from need alone. They focus on the problem, describe it in detail, and ask for help from that place. While sincerity is present, the foundation is still weak because it is built on circumstances. When circumstances shift, their confidence also shifts. But when your prayer is rooted in the Word, your confidence remains steady regardless of what is happening around you. The Word gives you something specific to stand on. It provides clarity about what you are asking and why you are asking it. Instead of vague requests, your prayer becomes precise. You are no longer hoping something might happen. You are aligning yourself with what has already been established as truth. That alignment produces boldness. You begin to pray with a sense of certainty because you're not presenting your own ideas. You are standing on something higher. This also changes how you speak during prayer. Your words begin to reflect what the Word says rather than what your situation suggests. If your situation says lack, but the Word speaks of provision, you choose to base your prayer on provision. If your situation shows weakness, but the Word declares strength, you align with that declaration. In doing so, you are not denying what exists. You are choosing what has the final authority. Another important aspect is consistency. The Word does not change. And when your prayer is built on it, your position does not need to change either. You don't have to adjust your belief every time circumstances shift. You remain steady because your foundation is steady. Over time, this builds a deeper confidence within you. You begin to trust not just in the act of praying, but in the truth behind your prayer. And that trust transforms your prayer from a request filled with uncertainty into a declaration supported by something that cannot fail. Eliminating doubt immediately is essential because doubt does not wait. It enters quickly and, if ignored, begins to grow. It often comes right after you pray, sometimes even during prayer, as a quiet thought questioning whether anything will really happen. If you allow that thought to stay, it starts to weaken the confidence you just established. What began as a strong, faith-filled moment can slowly turn into uncertainty if doubt is not addressed right away. Doubt is subtle. It does not always appear as a strong negative statement. Sometimes it shows up as a simple question like, "What if nothing changes?" or "What if this takes too long?" Those small thoughts may seem harmless, but they carry the potential to shift your focus. Instead of staying anchored in belief, your attention begins to move toward possibility of failure. That shift is what interrupts the flow of faith. The key is not to entertain those thoughts. The moment doubt appears, it must be recognized and rejected. If you begin to analyze it or give it space, it gains strength. But if you respond immediately, it loses its influence. This response is not emotional. It is a deliberate choice. You replace the doubtful thought with a firm declaration that aligns with what you believe. In doing so, you are actively protecting what you have already set in motion through prayer. This requires discipline of the mind. Thoughts will come, but you are not required to accept all of them. You choose which thoughts to agree with. By consistently rejecting doubt, you train your mind to return to faith more quickly. Over time, this becomes a habit, and doubt loses its ability to take hold. There is also a sense of urgency in this process. Waiting to deal with doubt allows it to settle deeper. Acting immediately keeps your inner state aligned with confidence. It preserves the clarity you had when you prayed and prevents confusion from taking over. When doubt is removed quickly, your belief remains strong and uninterrupted. Your expectation stays intact, and your focus does not shift away from the outcome you are standing for. Staying in expectation after praying is what keeps your faith active between the moment you ask and the moment you see results. Many people know how to pray, but they do not know how to remain afterward. Once the prayer is finished, they slip back into worry, overthinking, and constant checking. That shift breaks the flow they had just established. Expectation, however, keeps everything aligned. Expectation is a quiet confidence that something is already in motion. It is not loud, emotional, or forced. It is steady. After you pray, you are not waiting in uncertainty. You are anticipating. There is a difference. Waiting in uncertainty is filled with questions, but expectation is filled with assurance. It carries a sense that what you asked for is already being handled, even if you cannot yet see it. This mindset changes how you respond to time. If results do not appear immediately, expectation does not panic. It does not assume failure. Instead, it remains steady, knowing that a process may be unfolding. Impatience, on the other hand, leads people to abandon their position too early. They begin to think nothing is happening, and that thought weakens their belief. Expectation also affects your emotions. When you truly expect something good, there is a sense of calm and even quiet excitement. You are not stressed or anxious because you are not trying to force an outcome. You trust that it is already set in motion. This emotional stability protects your faith from being shaken by external circumstances. Your focus plays a big role here. If you constantly look at the problem, your expectation will weaken. But if you keep your attention on what you believe is happening, your expectation remains strong. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means choosing which reality has your attention. You give more weight to what you believe than to what you currently see. Consistency is important. Expectation is not something you hold for a few minutes and then forget. It is a continuous posture. Throughout your day, your thoughts and reactions reflect whether you truly expect results or not. When you stay in expectation, you create an environment where your prayer is supported rather than disrupted. You remain aligned, steady, and ready to receive when the result appears. Giving thanks as if it is already done is one of the clearest expressions of real faith. Gratitude before results appear is not based on visible evidence, it is based on trust. Many people wait until they see change before they become thankful, but this kind of thanksgiving comes before anything changes outwardly. It is a response to what you believe has already been set in motion. When you thank in advance, you are confirming your belief. You are saying in your own words and attitude that you are fully convinced the answer is already established. This removes hesitation from your heart. It settles your mind. Instead of going back and forth between hope and doubt, thanksgiving anchors you in certainty. Gratitude also shifts your focus. If you are constantly thinking about what is missing, your attention stays on lack. But when you begin to give thanks, your attention moves to provision, even if it is not yet visible. This shift is powerful because it changes the atmosphere within you. You move from pressure and worry into peace and confidence. There is also a consistency that comes with true thanksgiving. It is not something you say once and then forget. It becomes a lifestyle throughout your day. You find yourself returning to that place of gratitude again and again, not out of routine, but out of conviction. Each time you give thanks, you reinforce what you believe. This kind of gratitude protects you from negativity. When challenges try to appear or when circumstances seem unchanged, thanksgiving keeps your perspective steady. It reminds you that your situation is not final. It keeps you from speaking words that contradict your prayer. Instead of reacting with fear, you respond with appreciation, which keeps your faith intact. Emotionally, thanksgiving brings a sense of calm joy. You are no longer striving or trying to force something to happen. You are resting in the assurance that it is already handled. That rest does not mean inaction. It means confidence without struggle. When you consistently give thanks before seeing results, you align your heart, your words, and your expectation in the same direction. And that alignment allows what you have believed for to move forward without resistance. Guarding your confession after prayer is what preserves everything you have just set in motion. The moment you finish praying is not the end. It is the beginning of a test of consistency. What you say afterward will either support your prayer or slowly dismantle it. Many people pray correctly, but they undo it through careless words spoken later. Your confession is not just occasional speech. It is your ongoing conversation throughout the day. It includes what you say when things look unchanged, when pressure rises, or when others speak negatively around you. In those moments, your words reveal whether you are still standing in faith or drifting back into doubt. The challenge is that circumstances often try to pull a different response out of you. If nothing seems to improve, there is a natural temptation to speak what you see. You might feel like describing the situation honestly, but if those words contradict what you prayed, they begin to weaken your position. Speaking negatively may feel natural, but it does not keep you aligned with your expectation. Guarding your confession requires intentional control. You do not speak every thought that comes to your mind. You pause, you choose, and you align your words with what you believe rather than what you feel in the moment. This does not mean ignoring reality. It means refusing to give it the final voice. Consistency is the key. One strong statement of faith followed by many negative statements will not produce stability. But when your words remain aligned over time, they create reinforcement. They keep your heart steady and your expectation clear. Even simple, repeated affirmations of what you believe can maintain that alignment. It also involves awareness of your environment. Conversations with others can influence your speech. If you join in negative discussions, it becomes easier to slip into the same pattern. Guarding your confession means being selective, not just with your own words, but with what you agree with. Over time, this discipline strengthens you. It becomes easier to speak with intention rather than reaction. Your words begin to carry consistency, and that consistency protects the direction of your prayer. When your confession remains guarded, your prayer is continually supported instead of being interrupted, allowing what you have believed for to move forward without being pulled in different directions. The way you pray determines the results you see, but even more than that, the way you think, speak, and remain after prayer determines how quickly those results appear. Prayer is not a moment of desperation, it is a moment of alignment. It is where confidence replaces uncertainty, where belief is established before sight, and where your words, thoughts, and expectations are set in one clear direction. When you begin to pray with confidence, believe you receive immediately, align your words with faith, and stand on a solid foundation, everything changes. You are no longer hoping something might happen. You are standing in assurance that something has already begun. And as you eliminate doubt, remain in expectation, give thanks in advance, and guard your confession, you protect that position of faith from being weakened. This is how results are accelerated, not by repeating prayers endlessly, but by staying consistent after you have prayed. The power is not just in asking, it is in maintaining alignment. Every thought you accept, every word you speak, and every attitude you carry either strengthens or interrupts what you have released. When all these come together, there is a shift. You move from uncertainty into clarity, from waiting into expectation, from struggle into confidence. And in that place, results are no longer distant. They begin to manifest because nothing within you is working against them. This is how you pray and see results, by becoming consistent, unwavering, and fully aligned until what you have believed for becomes visible.